Has Davis got it back? She has.
Up front with Millie, Boyle and Keeley Davis.
Here they go again.
Let the games begin.
So before we get into all of the
footy
ins and
chat.
outs, all the footy chat, I thought we would, like desirable traits. I thought we'd come up with each other's least desirable traits just to kind of get it out there so we don't, we can just be upfront about it,
Well, yes, you were very strong about this. I didn't really care that much, but obviously you need to air some things that I do. I guess we've spent a lot of time as roomies together. And
These aren't even, you know what? They're not even bad things. I actually like them about you, but I think they're funny.
okay, well, just
Wouldn't
so you
say they're
know,
mean.
mine, it was hard to come up with them. I feel like I'm, not because of you, because I'm easygoing.
Okay, right. Okay,
Okay.
so should we go
You start,
one
you
for
start.
one?
Yep.
Okay. So you'll claim that something is like your absolute favourite song ever and you know 2 words of it and it's usually the title of the song.
That's just me though. I love music, but I have bad retention.
Do you listen to the words?
No,
when
I don't.
What do you listen to?
Just the tune. I listen, if the song's playing, I know the words, but other than that, I can't retain the information. I have
Yeah.
more important things going up
Okay,
here.
radio. You're up.
Okay, mine is, I feel like we're on a bit of different wavelengths with this. Every time you eat, you have to get your retainer and you pull it out like this.
That is mean. I did not. Okay. That is actually mean. I'm nearly finished my Invisalign. Okay.
I'm not finished. And then the spit.
Are you kidding me?
You wanted to bring this up?
Laugh a bit harder into the microphone.
Oh, this is going to be terrible listening.
Okay. Okay, the Invisalign. I'm sorry, I won't wear it. I've actually taken it out right now because I've got a lisp when I do have it in, but I'll be careful not to wear it around you. Okay, my next one is, for those who don't know Keeley, she thinks she's like very intuitive, and she is, but she has these tarot cards and they live in her purse like they are her car keys, and she will give everyone tarot readings, whether it's in camp, whether we're on a night out and she meets a random in the bathroom. And, everyone's had a tarot reading from Keeley, like their spirit animal.
Yes, that is true. Okay, I don't have too much else with you, but I will say one thing that I don't like is when I have my tarot cards and it's not a good time. Millie, I can feel her eyes searing in the side of my head, like on the night out when I got them out. A few girls were waiting in line at the bathroom, thought they needed some help. Give them some guidance. I can feel Millie just looking at me like, put those away right now.
Oh my God.
So
all right, yeah.
that's my second one for you.
Okay, so that was a reaction of what I said.
Yes,
Anyway.
that was my
okay.
plan with this.
Okay, I've got one more.
Okay.
Okay, this one's probably the worst. I feel like this one's
no.
quite, anyway. You are the slowest walker in history. Whenever we go somewhere, it'll just be the 2 of us and we're walking wherever. She's like my little child, 2 paces away from me every time, and I'll slow down and she'll slow down as well. I'm like, don't slow down, you'll stop. Just come next to me,
Oh, you do know this, but you got long legs.
Yeah, but I'm walking slower, then you walk slower. You don't even think, I'll try and walk faster a little bit.
I know that does happen all the time.
Okay, is
Yeah.
that it?
Yeah, I don't have too many.
Okay, that's not too bad then. And I actually feel a sense of relief getting that off my chest.
I'm glad you got that off your chest.
Topic number 1, we've got a little bit of a run sheet here.
Yeah, nice light topic, I reckon.
Nice and light topic. Why we started the podcast.
I think we both speak about this all the time, but the women's game obviously has come so far and it's an exciting time. Everything's really positive about the women's game and we definitely want to be positive, but I think there's probably not criticism in the women's game yet for areas that aren't doing that well, and I think just putting a player's perspective on those areas too could be really good for the women's game. And just having somewhere to express how we feel is what I'm keen about.
I'm keen about that too. Like we've got 4 new teams in the NRLW. A lot of things kind of happen without us really, should there be 4 more teams? Should there be the same amount as men? Should we be paid the same as men? Like, put the girls in, they can run just as hard as the men. Like, no, we can't. We're just sick of people saying that stuff and thinking it's our view. So we just wanted to have like a player's perspective in the NRLW space. And I mean, everyone's got a podcast these days and we love talking. So
every cat and their
put
dog.
it to use. Cat and their dog. Okay, this is the other thing. It's man and his dog. Like the cats and dog don't have podcasts. Like,
oh, okay.
Anyway, okay, so that's why we started the podcast. Anyway, to start off with, let's chat a little bit about the CBA. It's a bit of a hot topic. It goes in and out of being a hot topic, but it's always there in the background. This is an important year for us as females to make sure that this is the next 5 years of what the NRLW looks like.
Yeah, I would even say last year was the important year.
Well, yeah,
and it's just been dragged out so long.
Dragged out.
That it's now into this year. It's probably a hot topic in and out because everybody gets so sick of it, including the playing group.
We get sick of it.
That it's just like, we want to forget about it and then we need to sort out issues. So
the CBA is the collective bargaining agreement between the NRL and the players. So the RLPA, the Rugby League Players Association, act on our behalf and get messaging from us to go to the NRL to say what our season should look like, how long our pre-season should be, what the minimum wage should be, how many teams should be in the comp, e.g.
Yep.
So they asked us, did we want 4 more teams in the competition? We said maybe it's too many, maybe go to 8 teams, have double rounds, have trial matches and an extra finals game.
Yeah.
But they just said, nah, thanks for your opinion.
Yeah.
But we're just going to chuck in 10 straight up. Here we go though.
Yeah.
The other day I was at this event for Telstra.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been telling you about this. And Andrew Abdo was there and he had a very strong point he wanted to get across. And he's saying this as a positive. I took it as a negative.
Oh, no.
He wants to put 18 men's teams and 18 women's teams into the NRL and NRLW by 2027, in 2027.
Oh, my gosh. He actually said this.
He said that.
We are so far off that.
We're so far off that. I think you can't just every year on year chuck a few more teams in, chuck 4 more in, chuck 2 in. You just can't do that. We are not up to that.
And, okay, this is going to be a bit rude, I think, but if you look at the AFLW, that's probably the biggest thing that people say is the quality of the game. Watching it is not great.
It's gone too big too quick, and that's no fault of their own. That's because
100%.
they've done that. And they've put things in place way earlier than we have in terms of grassroots. So they will get the outcome quicker than we will. But we can't that's only 4 years away.
Yeah.
Like how seriously do they take putting one men's NRL team into the comp? It took how long to put the last team was the Titans and then the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And now they're looking in the next 4 years to put one more. You want to put 8 more in the next 4 years for girls?
Yeah, well, I think even going backwards. So, last season we played 6 there were 6 teams, in the comp. And we played 2021 season at the start of the year. Then we had that little origin period and went to play for our clubs in the New South Wales comp and the Queensland comp. And then we had the second season where it was another 6 teams. So it was a 5-round comp with a semi and a grand final. And I think over that year you saw how much each player and team improved. I think ideally, majority of us would have liked to see the 6 teams stay, double the rounds. That's pretty much what happened last year, and I feel like the improvement of the women's game just went crazy.
And the development players and everything, the coaches, you need to have that all there.
Yeah, and being in a system for a long time is, I think, the biggest thing for improvement. I think we've been at Roosters 5 weeks, 6 weeks preseason.
Yep.
And it's been great to be part of that. Our skill level from week
Before
1
that,
to week
what
5.
what were our preseasons like before? I swear they were like 3 to 4 weeks preseason and
Well-
no trial game, just straight into it.
Well, 2018, 2019, this is actually crazy now you mentioned that. So we had a 3-week preseason in 2018 and 19. Our club
Like
team,
you get a sore ankle and you're out for 1 week.
well, no, even worse than that. Our grand final for our club was the week before round 1. So I played our grand final and so did a few of the other Illawarra girls and then didn't even do preseason because we would in our grand final for
the
club. And then the
Sort
next
this
week,
shit out.
the next week we were playing round
Not
1
you.
NRLW.
Yeah.
So weird.
What someone has to talk to the New South Wales and Queensland state bodies and sort out their competitions because even the way it is right now, New South Wales and Queensland have different competitions, different amount of teams, different amount of rounds and different end dates.
Yeah.
So what's the go? I think ultimately what they need to do is set up a reserve grade, which is your club stuff, like New South Wales Cup, Queensland Cup, and you play that gets played alongside the NRLW underneath, underneath it at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you don't play that week and in the NRLW, you play reserve grade.
Yeah,
And
I completely agree. But the issue that there is the agreed terms in the CBA. That's not finalised yet, but the agreed terms are 20 weeks of work, which is what it currently is now for 2023 and 2024. And then it only goes up an extra 3 weeks in 2025. So we know the next 3 years it's going to be the same length of season or less if there's an extra team added or extra 2 teams added. It's not going to be expanding by rounds quickly at all.
No, it's not.
So that's exactly where I'd like to see it as a feeder, having your Harvey Norman and your, is it BMD teams lead into NRLW, and that way the girls who aren't playing NRLW still get game time, because I think that's probably a hard thing with the development players or the girls who are in that like 18 to 24 spot. They're not playing at all right now.
Yeah, they're not playing any footy. How are they going to get better?
Say there's five weeks you don't play because you're not in the team. There's a few injuries. You finally get that opportunity. That's the first time those girls are going to play in 3 months, 4 months.
And they're
That is
expected
not good.
to be absolute tip-top breaking through. Otherwise, they go back and they don't get another shot.
Yeah, and I think we're really going to see that towards the back end of the rounds in the NRLW this year is the depth of teams. And I think, unfortunately, with the expansion going to 10 teams, it's not going to be great. I think there will be some big blowout scores and it's probably not going to be great viewing, whereas last year all the games were so
lot more
close.
competitive.
I think the average difference between games was like 5 points.
Yeah.
So,
That was, last year I think was awesome, especially having more footy in 1 year. Speaking of the 4 more teams, so we've got Canberra Raiders.
Yep.
We've got the West Tigers.
Yeah. Cronulla
Sharks and
Cowboys.
North Queensland Cowboys. Who are you tipping to do the best out of those 4 teams?
Well, I think straight off the bat, Sharks, they have recruited really, really well. I think they've had a really good base for
they've
the past
been
5
really
years.
good in the Harvey Norman competition, very solid, and a lot of girls live in the Shire, don't they, that are returning home.
Yeah, there was a fair few girls at Illawarra last year, or the Dragons last year, from the Shire anyway, so they're just returning home. But I think the recruitments they've got have been awesome. They've got obviously Holly Wheeler, Emma Tonegado, Quincy Dodd, all leaders in important positions. So
Tiana Penatani back from the Eels.
Yes. So I think they've got a really good balance of their squad too. So Sharks are definitely looking good, just generally, not even for a new team. But I also like Raiders.
I like Raiders.
They're going to be a team that you just like.
You know what? I feel like
Cold, down there, tough.
and they're working hard. They're,
Getting
if we
smashed.
think training's hard, like, if it's raining and it's cold here in Sydney, like we always think this is what actually gets us through. Guys, imagine how much colder it is in Canberra and they're training right now. So I think they've got a really tough team. They've got a lot of the girls from Mounties, and you've played with a lot of those girls, led by Samima Taufa, who's an absolute weapon, a great leader, and just absolute reckoning in attack and defence. And
And you know what about Mima too? So like you said, I was at Mounties for 3 or 4 years, and they've got Darren Borth, who's their coach there too.
He's great.
He's really good. He's very similar to Mima though. They will be getting flogged. They'll be doing contact.
Poor girls.
Yeah, well, he's got an S&C background, so they'll be getting absolutely
all the
flogged.
time.
And the worst thing is, well, it's the best thing, but Mima's going to set that standard so incredibly high that if you're not anywhere near
yourself.
Mima, you're going to look terrible. And that's a very high standard. Just for an example, this is very not recommended. She would do con on our captain's run.
No, she still does that now.
Yeah, she is actually.
She's just
different.
like Terminator. Like we'll have a day off. If we're in Origin camp,
Oh, God.
we go day off and then we go captain's run, then play. Mima is working. She is in the gym. We're like laying by the pool.
Having a nice swim.
Yeah, enjoying maybe a little, go get our nails done. Mima is
She's probably just done 10Ks on the roller.
10Ks on the rower and then like 20 efforts on the ski erg and then some like light weights.
And then she'll come back and then she'll sit on her laptop for 10 hours doing work.
She's so productive.
She's so productive. But
Kind of
anyway,
annoying how
Canberra.
productive she is. Yeah, she's leading it down there. They've got Zahara as well.
Yep.
Z's little sister, Shantae.
Yeah, they got some good outside backs
So
too.
Coleman.
Yeah.
They've got some rugby girls coming over from Brumbies, the Brumbies system, Waratah system. So they will be, I can't wait to see them. We play them round two.
Yeah. And you know another factor to that? Not many girls are local, so they've relocated, I'd say probably 18 of the girls.
Really?
So you know they're going to be tight-knit. They're going to be hanging out
And
all
when
the
you
time.
go down to Canberra, like you're spending time with your team.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Because there's not, let's be honest, in winter, not much else to do. Hang out at Belco Mall, maybe. You wouldn't know what that is. I would live down there. But great place, great club, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they go. Okay.
Yeah.
Conversely, who do you think will struggle this year out of all teams?
Just generally?
Just generally, or maybe, what do you reckon?
Struggle, well, I think purely because of location. Cowboys, that's a really hard team to get started.
I think any team starting out, let's be honest, like the two new teams the first year, when they came into the comp, the Knights and the Eels, they were both two bottom teams, but the next year, we saw them in the grand final. So the first year I think it'll be tough for new teams.
Yeah, I do agree. I think they've done a really good job at getting some important players like Kira Dibb. She'll be really good for them. Talisha Harden, both co-captains.
Yeah.
They'll be really good up there. They've also got an incredible facility. We're lucky enough to train up there. And that is definitely going to lure some people in, I think.
Honestly, after going up to Townsville, I was like, it was actually dangerous.
Yeah.
For we had Queensland and New South Wales up in Townsville.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, it was like, wow, we could definitely live here. And you know what? The comps during winter, and it is the best summer up there during winter.
It was beautiful. I think all of the New South Wales girls were like,
they're living.
Oh, could we live up here? I think so.
When Canberra go and play them, they will realise.
Yeah, but some people are winter people. Some people like the cold.
Okay.
Just not us.
Yeah, okay.
But the other thing is I've heard I'm good friends with the assistant coach, Alicia, up at Cowboys, and by all reports, they're having a really tough preseason too, but they're all getting along really well. So
yeah, they're tight because they've had to move and they get along and they
exact
hang out.
same as Canberra,
And, okay, little segue, but
20
20-minute ferry to Mission Beach from Townsville.
Mission Beach?
That's where Romy Townsville lives, sorry.
Magnetic
Island is just the cutest little island. You could go over there for the day on your day off and have the best time.
Yeah.
I'd be doing that if I was at Cowboys.
Absolutely.
I'm
well,
sure
we
they do
did.
it. We did it. It was so much fun.
It was
We were
good.
a bit hungover.
Okay. Honestly, the trip did not start off too well. We were meant to get up early the day after Origin and get over to Maggie Island to make the most of it because we were flying out the next day. Anyway, we had a little sleep in, I guess. Just took ages to get our stuff together. We get on the boat or the little ferry over.
Okay, sorry. Keeley has left.
I was going to add that
Her
in.
bag, I'm just getting to the point because I realise we're probably talking a lot. Keeley has left her bag with her laptop, her swimmers and her toiletry bag. Like 3 really important things. Left him in the Uber. And then did you leave something else on the ferry?
Yeah, I've left my AirPods.
You left your AirPods on the plane. Anyway, Keeley, I'll take all the stuff next time. You just worry about yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, it was a great time.
It was so
Toad
much fun.
racing.
Toad races. So like we thought we were going to be like, you put on money on these toads, like, and whoever wins like a big pot of cash.
Yeah.
But like we thought, we'll put $10 on a toad and see who wins, the race. Oh, first straight out of the bat, $100, $150. The minimum toad went for $180.
Yeah, and they auction the
up
toads.
to $300. They auction the toads off, and then they put them in the middle, and they see which one gets out of the circle first.
Oh, it's the best.
It's actually dangerous. They didn't even video it, and they reckon one was a tie. And then like, imagine all the punch ups.
That was actually really bad. It was $500 prize money, no video, and they
were
all
relying
different
off
directions.
the like tourists like who videoed it as a joke.
Yes. Anyway, if you get over to Maggie Island, definitely on Wednesday nights they do the toad racing.
Yeah, it was on Friday when we went, but it's on Wednesday nights. Yep. And hire one of those topless cars. They're really cool and so fun. Keeley can't drive them because she can't drive a manual. But anyway, so not only were we in Townsville to go to Magnetic Island, we actually had the State of Origin. We did. A little recap on State of Origin.
Yeah.
So everyone knows there was 2 games. Wasn't it just the weirdest feeling at the end of that game?
Yeah. I was very pissed off, to be honest, because for a few reasons. Mainly, that was one of the hardest games we would have ever played and one of the best Origin games for the last few years and maybe for the next few years.
Yeah, it was much better than the week before.
100%.
The game before. That was shocking.
It was absolutely shocking. But we played a really good brand of footy. Like, you spread the ball. It was just a great display. Like,
I haven't actually watched it.
I haven't watched it back. I'm just remembering up here.
Okay.
But I'm assuming. Much better than the week previous. So we stay in the battle. Anyway, one of the best wins, I reckon, we've been a part of.
Yeah, let's get to the point. What are you saying?
Oh my gosh, I know, my brain's slow today.
Okay, pretty much. So we finished the game.
Yeah.
Not finished the game. Yaz scores this try.
Yeah.
It's no try. They go upstairs. It's a penalty try.
Yeah.
That puts us 2 points in front.
Yeah.
We need to win the game by 9 points to win. She gets 2 points. Then we kick the goal. We're up by 4 points. It was just so weird. Queensland were cheering because they thought it was a no try. And then it was a try. So we started cheering. Then we realised it wasn't enough and time was running out. So we'd actually lost anyway.
Yeah.
And then Queensland started cheering again.
Well, it's just all over the shop. When we were back after we just scored that try, I'm looking at Jess Surgis and we're counting on our fingers how many points we need to win the game. I reckon.
4?
Was it 4?
1, 2, 3, 4. Well,
4 to
we
draw.
need a converted try to win.
Yes, exactly. But that's hard to do when you're fatigued.
Yeah, and we still got the kickoff.
Yeah. So anyway, after all that, we win the game. It's such a great game. We should be very happy that we just won a great game. And Queensland should be very happy that they've won the series. But that has been taken away from both of us because of this stupid setup.
Yeah.
Neither of us are happy, are we? We weren't happy we won.
They were very happy. I don't know what you were looking at. They were pretty happy.
I don't know if they were.
They were cheering.
Do you not think they'd be happier if they won 2?
They would have been happier, but they were still clearly very happy.
I would argue that we were happier when we won the one game than they were when they won.
Okay.
Like in 2022 season.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's fast forward a little bit. It's depressing. We're at the game.
Yeah.
We still decide we're in Townsville.
Yeah.
We did win the game. Let's celebrate our win.
Yep.
Let's go out.
Yep.
We headed out to Mad Cow.
Oh, yes.
It was a good time.
It was so much fun.
It was just a little function that we thought was for all of us. Apparently it was just for Queensland.
Yeah. So what happened, Mill, was when we got there, we all got little wristbands and the manager was like, come upstairs. Cool. You guys are up here. You got your tab. We're like, sweet. All of the New South Wales girls were up there partying with the Queensland girls.
It was all Queensland and New South Wales staff and staff and players and whoever.
Anyway.
And just us, sorry.
Many drinks later, the next morning we wake up. I had to think about it. I was like, who actually paid for that? Anyway, at breakfast, we find out it was the Queensland's bar tap that we were using the whole night. Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, because at about 3 a.m, they all changed wristbands because they found out that everybody was using it.
Is that why we left?
I don't know what happened, but the next morning we were all like, Oh no.
Oh my God.
Is that not hilarious?
So Queensland takes the shield and they take the bill as well.
Yeah. And it would
That's
have
right,
been
that's
a
fair.
hefty bill.
Would have been a hefty bill, but it was a good time. They were playing good music. The manager was great.
The manager was real good.
It was lovely. And it was a sick ferry ride the next day to Magnetic Island, and that's where that story kind of intertwines.
Yes. Anyway, next topic. Speaking of which, I actually want to bring one thing up.
One thing up.
Okay. I've got another thing that irritates me about you.
Well, I said if you don't come up with them at the start.
Nah, I've got
I
to add
said we'll
this.
do it at the
I
start.
only did 2. I have one in my back pocket. This is it.
Okay.
Rushing me on the podcast. That is so rude.
Every one of yours, I'm going to put a timer up next time, but every one of yours is just a reaction to something I'm doing right now. You can't just say that that's one of my icks.
Nah,
like
it
it's got to be
is.
something that's every day.
No, you rush me all the time when I'm walking on the podcast. Honestly,
Anymore?
You just dismiss me.
Okay. Wow, okay. We'll discuss this later.
All right. Last thing I think we want to discuss was around so much player movement. I know there's been a lot said.
There has been a lot of player movement.
Yeah.
And people are like, what do you mean? They've been there for 5 minutes and they're leaving again.
Yeah.
I don't think people were aware of how our contracting system used to be and what it is now.
Yeah.
So used to be was anything from last year and before that.
Yeah.
We were literally contracted for 3 to 4 months at that club.
Yeah.
We had a July through to October contract. There was nothing, there was no multi-year contracts. It didn't matter.
There was no
after that.
security.
There was
There was absolutely no security.
You could play Harvey Norman or BMD at the start of the year, and if you got injured, you might not have gotten a contract because you weren't contracted to a club.
That's happened so many times.
It has happened with a lot of girls.
many times.
It's quite,
It's sad.
But now there is the opportunity to have multi-year contracts when the CBA gets sorted out.
Yep.
And we have seen girls sign multi-years from now on, which is really cool. So you can set up, footy, outside of footy, what you're doing and align yourself to a club for a little bit longer than what it was previously.
Yeah, which is going to be great for the competition, I think.
We're actually going to see players and teams be like built on year, like not just like a flooded in and flooded out.
Exactly. I think it's going to be
It's
great.
not in the spirit of the game.
It's not. It's going to be great for the fan base as well. They can support a team knowing that a fair few of their core players are going to be there for a few years. They don't need to worry about them going elsewhere in the next few months.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be great. But a big part of why I think the change has been made or changes this year have been because of the Marquee system.
Yes.
So the Marquee this year, what's happening is there's one Marquee per club, which just means that they have an allocated $50,000 on the cap, which they can get paid up to $80,000, which is very, very different from years gone by.
And it sounds like a whole lot of like, what does that even mean? Because I've seen people say like, say for Roosters, for instance, they've got 6 marquee players, which might be in like rep players, but marquee just means whoever the club choose to give that extra money to for that one person.
Yeah.
But because of the new salary cap with the NRLW and the minimum wage that's gone up so much.
What's it gone up 3 times the amount?
So it used to be, what did it used to be?
Like 12, I think.
I think that was even less.
Yeah.
Anyway, the minimum wage is now what, 30 grand?
30, yep.
So, and if the salary cap's 900 something.
Yeah. The salary cap hasn't gone up that much, but the minimum's gone up so
Heaps.
much. So what's actually happened is a lot of the top girls are taking haircuts or pay cuts.
Or haircuts.
Is that the word, haircuts?
Yeah.
To go to clubs. So instead of it being kind of equally distributed and everybody else getting an increase, the minimum's gone up so much.
So you've got players on 30, you got a couple on 40 and maybe some on 50.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
kind of how it is.
Yeah.
So like, yes, you can go to a team that's starting up and maybe $5,000 more, 5 to 10 grand more.
Yeah.
Or you could go to a team where you are living, it's convenient, you're working, and in a team you want to be in.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it is. There's not much difference between a lot of the contracts as it stands in the NRLW right now.
Exactly. And I think like every contract, it's so dependent on your priorities. So exactly like you said, depending on if you want to improve your footy, go to a strong club that's got many years of experience, or if you want to go get more game time at a new club. Yeah. There's so many different reasons why people have moved, but I think people are going to settle down now over the next little bit. But I did want to ask you, with this Marquee system, or just generally, do you think the current Marquee system is the best for talent equalisation, or do you think, what do you think is then?
It's this whole talent equalisation thing are they even trying to do that right now? Is that what the Marquee system is for?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, no.
That's what it's meant for, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. And they've tried it. They've trialled and errored different ones every year.
Yeah. And I would like to actually touch on what they have been, because some of them are pretty wild. So
I swear they would change.
So they've changed pretty much every year.
Yeah.
2022 season.
They just try and stop certain players from going to certain clubs.
Pretty much. 2021 season, that was played in 2022. This is actually pretty crazy. I don't think people know this, but you got 5 marquees, which was made up of a top 30 of, I don't even know who made up the top 30.
I've even forgotten this.
But yeah, this is crazy. So you got drafted to your clubs or assigned to clubs.
You didn't even get to pick what team you wanted to go. Like, I mean, you did at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But say, for instance, if the Titans picked you in their top 5.
Yeah.
And the Dragons didn't.
Yeah.
You had the option to go there for more money.
Yeah. So pretty much what happened was, there'd be a category A. So if you get drafted to a team and they want you, that's cool. You get a certain amount of payment. If not,
you take less and stay at the club you want to play at.
Yeah. So it's pretty wild. That system did not work whatsoever.
That took a lot of time to get everyone's heads around. We didn't even get our head around it.
Yeah, we did, because it was wild and it was not great. But then I think the following year they nailed it. So what happened was there was 2
players that could be paid outside of the cap.
Yeah, fully uncapped potential. So I think we saw Newcastle obviously came last in 2021 season. The following year.
I just want to also say Newcastle got a lot of players back that were originally from Newcastle.
Yeah.
So their team changed dramatically.
Yes, but I think that is due, or a big factor of that, they got 2 really strong players out of the Marquee system. So I think that's going to help, obviously. Like, regardless of what happened, that system has helped. They came from last to first.
Because of a lot of the players and the depth in the squad and the coaching, and there was a lot of stuff. But I understand your point. Like, to move to a new spot, it's a big thing for a girl to move because of footy. That's never really happened before. So,
well, there's not the financial backings. You can't do it.
Anyway, so they scrapped that because it actually worked. And now we're back to this one Marquee system.
Yeah,
but now because the minimum's gone up so much, which is great, it means that everyone's pretty much on the same thing. Yeah. So you're just going to play where you want to play.
Exactly.
That's pretty much where we're at.
It's very little in between contracts, I would say. So, yeah, I think majority of girls are playing where they want to play.
Like, there's no incentive to go and play at a new club, or
a club you don't want to.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hope that kind of wraps it up a little bit on what the market.
That was very rambly.
Actually,
very
it's
rambly.
A dog's breakfast, really.
Yeah.
Or as you would say, a cat and dog's breakfast. And it's still going on. We don't even have a CBA that's sorted. We've all got interim contracts, but one thing I will say is the RLPA, they work so hard for us. And
they do.
When we first started playing footy, the minimum contract was $3,000. So
I think it was
$2,000. Okay.
Yep. And I was on it. It was my barley spending money, and I
was taxed.
cheering as a little 18-year-old. I was like, yes, $2,000.
I was cheering too, because I played rugby for ages, and we actually had to
pay for stuff.
Yeah, I had to sell raffle tickets to even just play it in a competition. So I was stoked, but the other thing I want to add to that is how much the men also support.
Yeah.
We will support them because, of course, they are the NRL and they are how everything started, and we've grown up watching the men and supporting them.
Yeah.
But to have them actually invested as well in our space so that we're united, we're doing this together because we both want the best outcomes for each other's
Yeah.
sports, I think is really cool. Something that's never happened before.
Yeah. They've been great. And I think, unfortunately, the CBA stuff's still going to go on. And I think it's actually escalating pretty much
As we
today.
speak. Oh,
So
sorry. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. We haven't even mentioned that.
thanks.
Keeley is 23 today.
Go on.
You look older and wiser.
Do I?
Yeah.
Thanks.
So happy birthday, and I think we're going to wrap it up there. Sorry, am I wrapping you? Is this the pushy time thing again?
I think it was only about 5 times that episode.
Okay.
Next time
Well,
we'll
what
try
were you
3.
going to say?
I don't even know. You just put it straight out of my mind.
Well, just like you don't know any song lyrics.
Okay, I really want you next episode to see if I can finish a sentence. Let's see that.
Okay, we don't have an hour and a half.
Oh, we
We're
have
doing-
as long as we need. We can cut them up. Well, guys, first episode done. Thanks for listening. I think probably rambled a little bit too much in there, but if you made it through, good job. We promise we'll get better.
It's only up from here.
Only up from here, and thanks for listening.